The stranger on the ship. James Carter was not new to space. He had worked as a cargo pilot for over 10 years. He had seen strange worlds, met many alien races, and been through more danger than he liked. But nothing prepared him for her. Her name was Elira. She joined the ship on a cold morning at Starport 9. She carried only one small bag and said very little. She didn't shake hands or smile. She just looked at people with calm, cold eyes that seemed too sharp, too focused. Captain Rourke gave James a short message. New specialist. Don't ask questions. Just do your job. That was fine with James. He didn't like talking much anyway. But something about Elira felt off. Too quiet. Too careful. She walked like she had a secret. The ship, Iron Raven, had a small crew, just 8 people. Most of them worked cargo or security. Elira said she was a systems analyst, but she never used the ship's systems. She spent most of her time alone in her room. She kept the door locked, even when she was inside. James noticed the little things first. She didn't eat with the crew. She said she was not hungry. Every day. She never laughed or told stories like the others. When the crew played games or listened to music, she stayed away. Sometimes, James walked by her room and heard soft sounds. Not music. Not talking. Something else, like a low hum, or whispering. One night, James walked to the kitchen for a drink. The ship was quiet. Most of the crew was asleep. As he passed Elira's room, he froze. A soft blue light was shining from under her door. The same strange hum filled the hallway, louder this time. It didn't sound human. It didn't sound like a machine either. Curious, and a little afraid, James stepped closer. He leaned toward the door. He could feel a strange warmth from the metal. Then, something moved. The light flickered. And just like that, the door opened behind him. James turned quickly, and saw Elira standing there in the hallway, staring at him. Her face was calm, but her eyes were hard. "What are you doing, Mr. Carter?" she asked quietly. James tried to speak, but no words came out. Elira took one step forward. The blue light behind her disappeared as her door closed. "Some doors," she said, "should stay closed." Then she walked away, silent as a shadow. The next morning, James tried to act normal. But something inside him had changed. He couldn't stop thinking about that blue light, that strange sound, and Elira's cold voice. He spoke with Lena, the ship's engineer and his closest friend. "There's something wrong with her," James said. "I don't think she's who she says she is." Lena looked around before replying. "You're not the first to say that. I checked her file last night. It's locked, higher security than the captain's." James frowned. "She's hiding something." "Then be careful," Lena warned. "People like her don't make mistakes. If she's hiding a secret, it must be big." Later that day, James passed by the cargo bay and stopped in his tracks. Elira was standing inside, alone. She was holding something in her hands, a small object that glowed faintly blue. James didn't recognize it. It didn't look human or like any tech he had seen before. Elira looked at the object with a strange expression, half fear, half sadness. James stepped closer, but the metal floor creaked. Elira turned quickly, and the object vanished under her coat. She said nothing. Just stared at him. James nodded slowly and walked away. But inside, his heart was racing. That night, James couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the blue light. The secret object. The sounds. Her strange eyes. So he made a decision. He set up a small hidden camera outside her room. Just to see. Just to understand. He waited. Hours passed. Then the camera showed something James would never forget. Elira opened her door. She stepped out, alone. She looked around, then paused. Her skin began to glow, softly. Then, for just a moment, her face changed, not human. Her eyes were brighter, her bones sharper. She looked like something from another world. Then it was gone. She turned and went back inside. James sat back in his chair, stunned. "She's not human," he whispered. And whatever she was hiding something big. Silence. Her eyes widened. "What is she?" James shook his head. "I don't know. But she's hiding tech, alien tech." "That's not just spying," Lena whispered. "That's infiltration." James felt a chill. "Then we're not alone on this ship." Lena looked around nervously. "We have to be careful. If she knows we're onto her." She didn't finish her sentence. That night, James couldn't help himself. He went back to the ship's data logs. He wanted to know more about Elira. Her entry file was locked behind 2 levels of encryption. Too secure for a civilian. James had learned a few tricks over the years. Slowly, he worked through the code. As he reached the second layer, the screen flickered. Access denied. Trace detected. Suddenly, the screen went black. James froze. Then, behind him, the hallway lights flickered. He stepped out of the control room. The ship was quiet, but something felt wrong. A buzzing sound came from the walls, like whispering voices moving through the wires. James walked toward the cargo bay. The sound grew louder. He opened the door. And stopped. Elira stood in the center of the bay. The lights were dim, but she glowed faintly, just like in the video. In front of her was a floating device, not human tech. It shimmered like glass, spinning slowly, covered in symbols. She spoke in a low, strange voice. Not English. Not any language James knew. Then the device blinked and disappeared. Gone, just like that. Elira turned around. She saw James. Neither of them moved. "You shouldn't be here," she said calmly. James stared at her. "What was that?" She didn't answer. Instead, she stepped forward. "You've been watching me." James nodded. "You lied to all of us." A pause. Then Elira looked him in the eyes. "I didn't lie. I just didn't tell the full truth." "What are you?" he asked. Elira didn't answer. "Not yet." She touched a small device on her wrist, and the lights in the room dimmed even more. "You want answers," she said. "Then listen carefully. And do not interrupt." She began to speak, slowly. "I was born far from here. On a planet your people have never seen. My kind lives among you. We wear your faces. We learn your ways. We observe." James couldn't believe it. "You're a spy." Elira shook her head. "No. I was a scout. But I stopped reporting years ago." "Why?" She hesitated. "Because I fell in love with your world." Her voice had a strange sadness now. "I saw beauty in your chaos. In your hope. In your fight to survive. My people don't understand that. They think humans are dangerous, reckless. And are we?" James asked. Elira looked away. "Yes. But you're also something more. And now, my people are coming." James took a step back. "Coming? For what?" "To decide. Whether Earth should be controlled, or destroyed." The room felt colder. James didn't know what to say. His hands trembled. Elira continued, "I tried to stop them. I broke contact. I stole this device to warn Earth. But if they find out I spoke to you. Suddenly, the ship's alarm rang. Intrusion detected. Elira's eyes widened. It's too late, she whispered. They found me. She turned to James. You have to decide. Help me warn Earth, or stay silent and survive. James looked at her, heart pounding. What happens if I help you? Elira stepped close. Then you become a target too. The ship shook. Lights flashed red. Something had arrived. And it wasn't friendly. The locked room. The ship shook again. Alarms screamed through the halls. Red lights flashed. The crew ran in every direction, confused and afraid. James stood frozen in the cargo bay, staring at Elira. What's happening? He shouted over the noise. Elira looked up at the ceiling. Her voice was calm, but her eyes showed fear. They found me. A scout ship. Cloaked. Small enough to get close without warning. James's chest tightened. Your people. She nodded. They don't care about witnesses. If they believe I've spoken the truth, they'll erase the whole ship. James ran to the bridge, where Captain Rourke barked orders. The crew scanned space, but saw nothing. No ships in range, someone yelled. Then why the hell are we shaking? Rourke snapped. James didn't speak. He just looked at the window, into the stars. There was nothing. But he knew something was there. Watching. Back in her room, Elira worked quickly. Her fingers moved across alien symbols on a small glowing device. The walls flickered with holograms, maps, energy readings, strange words in a language no human could read. James stepped inside without knocking. The door shut behind him. He looked around, stunned. The room was like a lab, nothing like the rest of the ship. Floating tablets hovered near the walls. Symbols moved in the air like living light. One screen showed a map of Earth. Red zones blinked across it, major cities, military bases, spaceports. What is all this? James asked. Elira didn't look up. Everything I've learned. Everything I've stolen. She turned to him. They don't just want to observe. They want control. And if they can't have it, they'll destroy us, James finished. She nodded. Suddenly, the room went dark. The lights flickered. From outside came a strange sound, like metal being bent, but underwater. A low, rumbling hum that made James's teeth hurt. Elira froze. They're inside. The ship was big, but not strong. A cloaked boarding pod had latched onto the hull without anyone noticing. Its door melted open like butter, and two tall figures stepped through. They were like Elira, almost human, but not quite. Their faces were smooth, cold, and their skin shimmered like glass. No emotion. No fear. Just purpose. One of them spoke in a language no human could understand. The voice was soft but sharp, like ice cracking. Target found. Elira is to be removed. Elira placed something into James's hand. A small crystal, glowing faintly blue. This holds everything, proof, data, truth. Get it to Earth. To someone who will listen. James stared at it. What about you? Elira gave a sad smile. I was never meant to survive this. Suddenly, the wall exploded. The two alien agents stepped in. Elira raised her hand, and a blast of blue light slammed into one of them, throwing it back. But the other moved fast, too fast. It grabbed Elira by the throat and slammed her into the wall. James shouted, rushed forward, and was thrown back by a shockwave. The crystal in his hand lit up. The alien turned to him. Human. Give it. James gritted his teeth. His hand burned from the heat of the crystal, but he didn't let go. You'll have to kill me first. The alien raised its hand, but suddenly, Elira moved again. With her last strength, she stabbed a silver needle into the alien's neck. It screamed, a high, horrible sound, and dropped to the floor, twitching. Silence. Elira fell to her knees, gasping. James rushed to her. You're hurt. No time, she whispered. They'll send more. She touched the crystal in his hand. This is humanity's only chance. James nodded, eyes burning. I'll get it there. I promise. The door burst open, Lena ran in, eyes wide. What happened? James turned to her. We have to leave. Now. As they helped Elira up, a new alarm rang. This one was worse. Self-destruct sequence activated. James looked at Elira. You did this? She nodded weakly. Better they find nothing, than find everything. The countdown had begun. 10 minutes. They had one escape pod left. And only seconds to decide who would go. Truth from the shadows. The sirens screamed. Self-destruct countdown, 9 minutes. Smoke filled the hallway. Red lights blinked like warning eyes. Somewhere deeper in the ship, the reactor hummed louder than ever before. James held Elira as she stumbled forward. Lena ran ahead, unlocking the path to the escape pods. You're crazy, Lena said to Elira. You blew up the whole ship. Elira's voice was weak but firm. If they capture this vessel, they can trace every contact, every planet. Earth would be next. James didn't argue. He had seen the look in the alien's eyes. No mercy. No second chances. They reached the escape bay. One pod was ready. The others were damaged from the earlier attack. Lena opened the hatch. There's room for two. James helped Elira in first. He turned to Lena. You go with her. Lena shook her head. Not happening. You've got the data. James hesitated. Then he looked at Elira. Will you make it? She gave a small nod. I'll hold on long enough. Lena pushed him inside. Save the planet, Carter. I'll stay and delay them. Before he could protest, the door sealed shut. The pod launched. As the escape pod shot into space, the Iron Raven grew smaller behind them. James looked through the window, and saw a second ship uncloaking near the wreck. Much larger. Dark. Silent. Watching. Inside the pod, Elira coughed. Her skin flickered between human and something else, translucent and glowing. She was losing control. James sat beside her. Why did you choose to help us? Elira looked at him. Her voice was slow now. My kind, they don't feel the way humans do. They live by logic, by control. No war. No chaos. But also, no hope. She paused, then smiled slightly. But when I came here, I saw your world. I saw people laugh, cry, love, fight. And I wanted to protect that. James listened in silence. You don't just survive, she continued. You grow. Even in pain. Even in darkness. That's why they fear you. Fear us? James asked. Elira nodded. Because deep down, they know, humans don't give up. And if they fight you, they might lose. The pod beeped. Incoming signal. James opened the screen. A message played, a warning in an unknown language, followed by a robotic voice in English. This is Domain Watch Command. You are carrying stolen technology. Surrender or be neutralized. Elira's eyes widened. They've tracked the pod. James looked at her. Can we fight? She shook her head. Not in this pod. But we're close. There's a hidden relay station. Old human tech. If we reach it, we can send a warning. Coordinates. She sent them to the pod's NAV system. James gripped the controls. Then we get there first. Behind them, the alien warship began to move. A long, sharp vessel like a black needle. Deadly. Silent. James pushed the pod to full speed. The small escape craft shook from the force. Sparks flew from the dashboard. The ship wasn't built for speed, but it had to survive just a little longer. Just enough. Elira closed her eyes. If I don't make it, promise me something. Don't talk like that, James snapped. You're going to make it. She opened her eyes, now glowing soft blue. No. Listen. If I die, destroy the crystal if you can't send it. Don't let them take it. Promise. James looked at the small crystal still glowing in his hand. It pulsed with a heartbeat of its own. He nodded. I promise. The pod reached the edge of a moon. Behind it, hidden deep under ice and rock, was an abandoned human relay station, cold, silent, untouched in years. James landed the pod hard. The systems failed just as they hit the ground. Smoke poured in. Sparks. But they were alive. James carried Elira out. The station door opened slowly with a loud hiss. Dust blew out. The air inside was thin, but breathable. James placed Elira on the ground gently. Just rest. I'll send the message. He ran to the old control panel. It was dead, but fixable. James worked fast. Years of ship repairs had taught him well. The screen flickered on. Connection found. Earth Defense Channel. He uploaded the data from the crystal. This is James Carter of the Iron Raven. We've been infiltrated. They're already here. This crystal holds proof. You must prepare. They're coming. He hit send. The signal launched. Behind him, Elira spoke one last time. You did it. Then she went still. Her glow faded. And James sat there, alone, under a dead moon, while Earth heard the truth for the first time. Betrayal in the stars. James sat beside Elira's still body. The old relay station was silent now. The message to Earth had been sent. The crystal was empty, its glow gone. Outside, the stars looked peaceful. But James knew the truth. Peace was an illusion. He stood up slowly. His muscles ached. His eyes were dry, but he didn't cry. He couldn't. There wasn't time. He moved Elira's body into the cold chamber of the relay station and sealed it. She deserved more, but this would have to do. Rest now, he whispered. You did your part. Now it was his turn. Suddenly, the old terminal lit up. Incoming transmission. James stepped closer. It was from Earth Command. A voice crackled through the speakers. Pilot James Carter. We received your message. Stand by for extraction. Relief hit him for a moment. But then. Another voice came in. A second message. Private channel. James, it's me. Lena. James's heart jumped. Lena. You're alive. Barely, her voice came weak through static. I escaped the Iron Raven before it blew. Hitched a ride on a patrol ship. But James, you need to listen. I'm listening, he said. She paused. They know. Who knows? James asked. Earth Command. Or at least, someone inside it. James felt a chill crawl up his back. Wait. Are you saying? They're infiltrated too, Lena said. Just like our ship. Higher up. Maybe deep inside command. James felt like the ground beneath him was falling away. Then, the message I sent. Might be in the wrong hands. James clenched his fists. He had trusted Earth Command. But now, he didn't know who to trust. What do we do now? He asked. Meet me, Lena said. There's a place. Old mining station on Virex 12. Off the grid. I'll send coordinates. Bring a weapon. Why? James asked. Because if they're coming for you, they won't come alone. He ended the call and took a deep breath. This wasn't just about aliens anymore. This was betrayal. From the inside. He salvaged what he could from the relay station, tools, supplies, a small pistol. Then he sent out a distress ping, hoping a neutral ship might find him. Hours passed. Finally, a cargo freighter responded. Old, slow, but human. James told them only part of the truth. That he survived an attack. That he needed a ride. No details. No names. The less they knew, the safer they were. The journey to Virex 12 took days. James stayed quiet. He watched the stars, wondering how many of them held others like Alira. Watching. Waiting. He replayed her final words in his head again and again. If they fight you, they might lose. He held on to that thought like a weapon. Finally, the freighter dropped him off near a broken spaceport on the frozen edge of Virex 12. Lena was already there. She looked tired. Thinner. But her eyes were sharp. You made it, she said. Barely, James replied. They stepped into the shadows of the station. It was cold, dark, and full of old tech long shut down. Lena pulled out a small scanner. Someone followed you, she said. 2 ships, cloaked. Not Earth. Not friendly. Then we don't have much time. Lena opened a hidden panel. Inside was an old military server, cut off from the main network. This, she said, is where we start over. If we can send the truth to the right people, without the enemy seeing it, we might have a chance. And if we don't? James asked. Lena loaded a drive into the port. Then Earth never sees it coming. Outside, in orbit, 2 dark ships floated silently. Their hulls shimmered in the black. They had no flags. No lights. No life. But inside, something watched. Waited. And planned. The escape plan. Virex 12 was cold. Silent. Forgotten. The old mining station groaned under the weight of snow and time. Inside, James and Lena worked in the dark, using old tech and stolen parts to build something that could save Earth. A signal. A message that couldn't be blocked or traced. A way to send the truth, to everyone. But time was running out. The enemy was already here. James stood at a broken window, looking up at the stars. They're still out there, he said. Watching us. Lena nodded. We need to move faster. If they jam this signal, Earth won't stand a chance. Then let's finish what Alira started. They had one chance, an old quantum relay hidden deep under the station. A forgotten piece of tech built during the first alien war. No one used it anymore, but if they could power it up, it could send a signal across the galaxy in seconds. James and Lena carried the crystal data core, now reloaded with everything Alira gave them, to the underground chamber. The air was stale. The walls dripped with condensation. And something didn't feel right. Lena connected the core to the terminal. Lights flickered. The machine came to life with a low hum. It's working, she said. James smiled. Let's light up the stars. He reached for the final switch. But before he could pull it, a voice echoed through the chamber. Step away. Now. James spun around. From the shadows, a man in a black uniform stepped out. His face was familiar. Too familiar. Captain Rourke? James whispered. The same man who led the Iron Raven. The same man who died in the explosion. But he was alive. And he wasn't alone. Behind him came two others, not human. Their faces shimmered, glitching slightly as they walked. Their eyes glowed faint blue. One of them looked at James and spoke in a cold, flat voice. You were not meant to survive. James stepped in front of Lena, protecting her. How are you alive? He asked Rourke. The captain smiled. That man died with the ship. I just borrowed his face. James's fists clenched. You're one of them. No, the creature said. We are many. We are already here. He pointed to the terminal. Shut it down. Give us the data. And we will leave Earth in peace. Lena's eyes widened. You're lying. The creature tilted his head. Of course. James and Lena looked at each other. There was no choice. They had to fight. James reached into his coat, pulled out a small pulse grenade Alira had left behind. This still works, he said. You'll die too, the creature warned. James smiled. Better than living as your slave. He threw the grenade. Boom. The explosion lit the chamber. The blast pushed the creatures back, two of them went down. James grabbed Lena's hand. Now. Send it. Lena slammed the switch. The relay hummed. Power surged. The walls glowed. The message began to upload. Rourke's fake face was burned off in the blast. His real form was underneath, cold, blue, and monstrous. He roared and ran toward the terminal. James tackled him, holding him back. Just a few more seconds. Lena shouted. The upload hit 90%. 95%. Rourke threw James across the room. The creature raised his hand, forming a glowing blade of light. He lunged at Lena. And stopped. James had jumped between them, holding a piece of metal. The blade pierced his side. Lena screamed. James. He gritted his teeth, blood running from his mouth. Just finish it. 99%. 100%. Message sent, the computer said. Rourke let out a loud scream. The creatures vanished, one by one, as if pulled away by some invisible force. Silence. Lena dropped to the floor, holding James. We did it, he whispered. Yes, she said, her voice shaking. Then maybe, just maybe, they'll fight back. James closed his eyes. The stars above were silent. But not for long. The final message. The stars were silent. Snow fell across the ruins of Virex 12, covering old metal and broken stone. Smoke still rose from the mining station. The relay was dark again. The signal was gone, but it had been sent. Far away. Earth had heard the truth. James Carter lay on the cold floor, his body still. The wound on his side was deep. His breath was slow. Weak. But he was alive. Barely. Lena sat beside him, her eyes red. She had done all she could to stop the bleeding, but time was short. No ships were coming. No help. Just them. Two humans. One small victory. James, she said quietly, you're still with me, right? He gave the smallest nod. Did it work? She smiled sadly. Yes. They can't block the signal now. The truth is out. James closed his eyes. For a moment, he said nothing. Then, he whispered. Then we won. Elsewhere. On Earth, in a high-security command center, alarms lit up. Unregistered broadcast received. Source, Virex 12. Data package confirmed. Unknown technology detected. The message played. Images of Illyria. Recordings of the infiltrators. Names. Coordinates. Warnings. A single line repeated at the end of the transmission. They are already here. Prepare Earth. General Marlowe stood in silence, staring at the screen. Behind him, officers waited for orders. What do we do, sir? The general turned slowly. Wake up every satellite. Call every fleet. Double-check every face. Is it real? Marlowe didn't blink. I don't know. He looked up at the stars. But if it is, humanity just got its warning shot. Back on Virex 12. James was fading. Lena held his hand tightly. Stay with me. Just hold on a little longer. James opened his eyes. Do you remember what Illyria said? Lena nodded. Yeah. She said they fear us. James smiled weakly. Good. He coughed, then said, tell them, we're not afraid. Outside, a light blinked in the sky. A new ship. But not the enemy. A rescue vessel. Human. They were not too late. Lena stood, waving a flare. Her voice broke as she shouted for help. The ship landed with a roar, and medics rushed down. They took James. Gently. Quickly. As they lifted him into the pod, he whispered again. Don't forget what we saw. Never, Lena said. 1 week later, Earth. James woke up in a white room. Alive. His body healed slowly, but his spirit was already awake. Beside him was Lena. She smiled. You're famous now. The whole planet saw your message. And? She leaned closer. They believe you. Across the world, defenses were rising. Humanity was preparing, not out of fear, but out of strength. No longer blind. No longer alone. Illyria's name was added to the list of unknown heroes. Her face, her words, became a symbol. Not of war. But of hope. In his room, James stared at the stars through a small window. He didn't know when the next threat would come. But he knew this. When they return, Earth will be ready. Because humans always fight back. And this time, they won't be alone. The end.